The dynamic reports function pulls together a number of conventional MX reporting functions into a simple to use toolbar. We can list models, strings and string points. The results are shown both in text form and graphically. Point information. This function reports a range of string points or a single point. Results are displayed in the panel, and the zoom function can be used to quickly identify the point in the drawing. Results can also be annotated on the current drawing. Intersections. This finds the intersections of two strings. If there are multi-intersections, start and end points for the search can be defined. Single perpendicular or multiple perpendiculars drops a normal from an individual or a series of points onto a reference string. The normals icon. This is used to report information using normals erected from one string to another. The other buttons on the toolbar. We have curve fitting. It's a toggle to indicate whether the string being intersected is considered to have curve fitting or to be treated as a series of vectors. Single point is a toggle to indicate that only a single point is to be reported rather than a range of points. Options sets the preferences for the number of decimal places, angular units, decimal symbol, change format, output file delimiter, zoom factor, left and right offsets and column width. Annotating the drawing. Report output can be added to the drawing. Just select a position, text style, height and required information. Now going to look at some of the dynamic report options. I'm going to select dynamic reports from the MX Road toolbar. The first thing I'm going to look at is the options icon on the toolbar, which is the last icon on the right. When I left click on that, I can set my number of decimal places. 3 will be good enough for today. I'm happy with my angular units, but you can see the other options that we have available. And I'm going to set my decimal symbol to point. I'm going to OK that. First icon on the toolbar reports models. If I left click, I can hit the green tick to apply, and we list all the models in the database. I can also type in a partial name and hit the green tick. Obviously anything starting with the letter D is listed in the output. We can go to strings. Again, I can pick a model. I can hit the green tick to apply, and we get a list of all these strings in the database in the model design. I can also filter on features. I'm going to go and look for road centerlines, and I'm going to hit the green tick to apply. There are the two roads that we've created in our design. There is also a summary of strings, which will just list the numbers of strings in the database which are in our design model. I'm going to delete MC and just do every string in the design model. We have 11 at this moment in time. I'm then going to go to string points. I'm going to pick my master string from the display. If I hit the green tick, it will report on every string point along the design. I can also use my point selection methods. I can right click in the start XY and go change your point. I'm going to go chainage, and I'm selecting from the screen. I'm going to go right hand mouse button, chainage again, and pick on the curve. If I hit the green tick, it's going to list all the points on my master string. We can see on the left hand side I've reported from point 12 up to point 24. The current point information shown in the output is point 12, and I can use the slider to move up and down to review the information in the output window. There is also an icon on the plan showing me that point, change 100, which is also point 12. I can use the black arrow here. If I left click, it will move through the points that I've selected. I can also use something called zoom to. If I left click, it centers the current point, which is 17, which is also changed at 130. There is also a single point toggle on the top toolbar here. If I left click on that, you'll see that the end change is grayed out. If I left click again, I can report on a range. So left click is just 1 point. If I hit the green tick, you can see all I get is point 12, which is changed 100. I can zoom to. Again, this centers my information in the plan, and I can also annotate. So I'm going to annotate an XY position is good enough today, so I'm just going to left click in the drawing. I can set a bearing for the text. I can pick a text style. If I just browse, we have 3 by default. I'm going to pick the 2.5mm text, so I'm going to go open. I can select a colour. I can draw a box around the text. I can draw a leader from the text box down to the master string. I can also annotate the point with the symbol if required. There is also information in the bottom here about what annotation is actually put on the drawing, and you can check or uncheck information as required. So I'm just going to go for the level and change in this case, and I'm going to hit the green tick, and there's my annotation. If I've made a mistake while I'm still in this panel, I can left click and I could reposition, or I could turn on more or less information for the display, and I hit green tick and we update the display. I can now exit the panel. If I want to replace this text now, I would have to delete it using the show hide graphics option and replace the text using the dynamic reports. We're now going to look at intersections. If I left click on the intersections icon, I can pick my first intersecting string. I'm going to pick the design road centerline MC20. The second string, I'm going to pick the surveyed channel, and I'm going to hit the green tick, and there's my intersection. I've got information here showing the 2 strings, the design and the surveyed models, the XY positions of the intersections, and the Z values. If I window in and look very closely, I can see that the actual intersection is not shown graphically where the 2 features intersect. Now this is down to curve fitting. The surveyed channel is just a series of vectors. If I left click on the curve fitting to turn it off and reapply the intersection, you'll see that the symbol will actually now sit on the intersection of the 2 strings. So there's a slight difference there whether I've got curve fitting on or off. I generally work with curve fitting on, but obviously when I look graphically there, I could see the intersection information was incorrect when I looked at the drawing. Curve fitting on, curve fitting off, it's just a toggle. I'm now going to look at perpendiculars. Select the icon from the toolbar. I can select the string. I'm going to select my road centerline MC20, and I'm going to use the right hand mouse button to change my point selection method to point, and I'm going to select the hedge feature from the drawing. I want to report the distance from the hedge down to my road centerline, and the right angle will be on my road centerline. If I hit the green tick, we drop a perpendicular. As you see, if I window in, there's the right angle, and my distance is 37.274 meters. This is very useful when we're checking distances and pinch points to features in a design or in a survey. Next is normals. I'm going to pick a reference string as my road centerline, MC20. I'm going to pick an intersected string as the left channel. There are options here to pick subsidiary strings, which I'm not going to use in this instance. We've also got a chainage interval if that is required, and I've still got this on single point, and because I want to report a range, I'm going to just click on the single point so I can set right hand mouse button chainage and pick a point from the screen. I'm going to right hand mouse button change and pick another point from the screen. So I'm going to report from change 100 to 190. If I hit the green tick and window in, I can see that the right angle again is from the master string out to the left channel, and I can see here that we have plan distance, slope distance, crossfalls, level differences, all relevant information. And again, I've got the slider that I can move left to right to move through the points quickly, or this can also be done by left clicking on the black arrows to scroll through the points. As before, if I want to quickly find out where this information is, I can zoom to, and we're centered in the drawing again. I could also use the annotate to add information to my planned drawing. This is also the option that you would use to find information when you're tying in your design road to an existing road. The only other two icons that I have left on the toolbar are shrink. This will just shrink to the output for the report only. It's just a toggle. Just gives you a little bit more space in your display. We also have shrink to toolbar, which shrinks everything back to the toolbar. I still have, while in this current session, each of the reports that I carried out, and that just shrinks back and gives you more space. You could leave the dynamic report panel up if you wanted to while you're carrying out your design.